Welcome to the Versa Business Tips Podcast. I'm your host, founder and CEO of Versa Business Systems, Shaheen Mazloom. We're here with a guest today, founder and CEO of Windley, Akash. How you doing today, brother?
Dude, I'm awesome. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely, me too, man. So tell me a little bit about yourself and what your company does.
Absolutely. So I'm the founder and CEO of Windley. What we do is provide permanent allergy relief. So if you can't breathe, if your girlfriend has a cat and she's not letting you move in with her until you get it fixed, come to us. We'll take care of you. You won't have allergy symptoms after a few months.
Wow.
We look at anything you breathe in, dust, pollen, pets, and we're looking to get into peanut also. But look, my job as CEO is to make sure that there's customers coming in, that they get the best experience possible, and that we're looking forward and onward.
Absolutely. So if I'm understanding you correctly, are you saying people can actually get rid of allergies?
Yeah, this is a thing. So, dude, this is a personal story, right? This was something I started because I suffered so badly for so long,
right?
That when I finally got fixed, I was like, the world needs to see this. Okay.
Right.
So let me dig into that a little bit. I'm young. I don't care about my health. Turn 25, start talking to this woman I'm going to marry. And she's like, you should probably care about your health. I'm like, I should care about my health.
Right.
That's when I discover and I start thinking, I'm like, wait a minute. I've only ever had one nostril work at a time. You know, I thought like that your nose was like your kidneys. You only need one to live. That's not it, bro. That's not it. You're supposed to be able to breathe through both of your nostrils. Holy moly, brother. I cannot tell you. I was probably living life at like 40% capacity because at any given time, I just couldn't breathe. And when you can't breathe, like your body is dying, right? You're not sleeping well. You're not exercising well. You're like, dude, it shows up in your skincare. It shows up in every part of your life. So I'm like, okay, I should probably take care of this. I get kicked around through so many different doctors. My primary care, my sleeps, I go to a sleep specialist. I end up going to an ENT. Eventually, I'm like, okay, this is allergies. It takes me 6 months to even get into an allergist's office from the moment I realize I need to be there. And the allergist is like, we're going to microdose you until your allergies go away. This is all FDA approved. This is all taken care of. I'm hearing all this from the allergist. I'm like, this is amazing. How do I do it? You have to come into my office every week for 5 years. Bro, every week for 5 years.
Who's got time to do that?
Exactly. Well, dude, there's like millions of people that are doing that right now because their allergies are so horrible.
That's insane.
Luckily, I'm complaining to my family about this at Thanksgiving, and my cousin is saying, look, I'm an ENT. There's a new treatment which has become popular over the last 30 years. You can take it at home. It can get shipped to you. Let's figure that out. Look, he's in Colorado. I'm in New York State. We jumped through a few hoops, and then he fixes my allergies. And I'm like, this is awesome. And so I do what every person does when they have an incredible health experience.
Yeah.
I tell my family and I get my family on it.
Yeah.
So I tell my wife, and then my cousin fixes my wife's allergies. My wife tells her sister, and then my cousin fixes her allergies. I'm like, 3 for 3. This is too good. This needs to exist in the world.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm going to try and make it happen. And what we have discovered is because there's 100 million people that have horrible allergies, and all these people are doing right now is drugging themselves day in and day out with antihistamines that cause drowsiness and weight gain and a host of other things. They want a more natural way of actually fixing the problem instead of just like taking drugs for forever. And so that's what we're up to. Sorry, I kind of rambled a little bit, but
dude, that's amazing.
I care a lot, man.
So you came across a product, realized there's a need. Why does everybody not know about this? And was like, there's an opportunity here. So from there, are you selling somebody else's product? Is that the business model?
So what the business is we're basically a doctor's office that's online.
Love it.
We've gotten rid of.
I've seen a lot of
stuff.
companies doing that recently, especially with like Ozempic and and like stuff like Adderall and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So what we've seen in healthcare generally is like you have your traditional healthcare system. You don't know what's wrong with you. You go to the doctor. You pay with insurance. The doctor figures out what's wrong with you and then moves on. Now,
Yeah.
due to the internet, surprise, we're seeing that like the doctors are less so the gatekeepers
Yeah.
because people are able to self-educate. And so now people
Yeah.
are like, I want to lose weight. I want to do it with Ozempic. Who will
Yeah.
help me get that in a safe way?
Yeah.
Or I want birth control. Who will help me get that in a safe way? And so you're kind of
Yeah.
seeing a little bit of commoditization there where
Yeah,
it's more about
100%.
just like access and crushing costs. And then you're
Right.
also seeing it on the specialty side with
Yep.
us with allergies. You also see this with like hyperthyroidism, these sorts of
Yep.
chronic conditions where you want someone working with you for like more than 6 months at a time.
Right.
This is something that will affect you for your life.
Right.
We're starting to see like, okay, if you have allergies, you probably know you have allergies. You've probably tried a bunch of stuff. Who's going to be your coach and your navigator to get you from where you are to like feeling better?
Yeah.
The same way with like hyperthyroidism, it's the same deal. You kind of want that long-term patient doctor relationship instead
Right.
of being treated as just like, okay, you're in, we're going to pump you full of drugs and you're out. So
Right.
that's kind of where you're seeing this model come from. Yeah.
All right, that makes sense. So like I know some things like for example with Ozempic, right? Once they stop taking it, they tend to gain all that weight back, and like it's something they got to take forever. So from a business standpoint, your solution, it sounds like it's gonna stop after 6 months, right?
Dude, this
that
is the
not?
hardest part about our business is that once we fix your allergies, you're going to churn.
Yeah, right. So from a
But
business
but
standpoint,
it's okay, man.
yeah. No, I
It's
get that. I get that. So do you guys do other products as well, or is it just
no,
the
so in healthcare, there's just so much complexity with each thing you offer, right?
okay?
And so my perspective is there's so many people that have allergies.
Yeah,
I'm just going to take care of that and people will garner goodwill because like, dude, once you're breathing better, it's like your life is back. Okay.
yeah,
Like imagine the worst cold you've ever had. Right. And that was just your life. Cause that's
Yeah.
what I was like. Okay. Like I don't even remember how I made it through. Oh my gosh. But like, dude, it's totally fine. Look, you come to us, we're going to get you. The process is like you come to us, you see a doctor, the doctor identifies what you're allergic to. You try
and
and
now
do
is
a
this done
diagnostic.
over telehealth,
It's
or do
all
they physically
telehealth.
have to come there? Okay, it's all
telehealth,
Cool.
and it's we mail you whatever you need.
Great.
And then what ends up happening is like once the doctor is able to put your treatment plan together, it's kind of a choice on your end if you want to be on it for 6 months or if you want to be on it for longer. That's kind of a choice that each patient makes between their doctor, just a function of like how bad are your allergies, and then
Right.
like, do you want a lifetime of relief or is it just like a temporary thing you're looking for?
Right.
I tell everyone shoot for the lifetime, just take care of it.
Oh
like,
yeah.
I feel better.
Get it
I
done
can
and
breathe.
over with. Right.
Well, for
Absolutely.
me, it's like I'm imagining a world like one thing that's incredible in America is like everyone has straight teeth because it's really cheap to straighten your teeth, right? You can do braces, you can do those clear aligners, Invisalign, like it's incredible. So why do we let this chronic condition of allergies exist when you can just get it taken care of? And so, no one would ask is like, are braces a small business? Right? Like, nah, it's as long as people are born. As long as people are born, I'm going to find people.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So from a business standpoint, in the medical field, are you yourself a doctor, or do you just have to have a doctor as part of the business?
Yeah, so I have a co-founder. This is the guy who fixed me. He's my cousin. So we came from like a shared understanding of our values on building and like what do we want to provide and put out into the world.
Right.
He is the doctor. He's super well respected. He holds positions in his academy. He's he's very involved.
Right.
He's not just he's not just the neighborhood doc. He's the doctor that other doctors look to.
Right.
And I let him handle everything on the medical side because there's a lot of complexity there. Yeah, dude, sure. This is not like this isn't a social app where if we make a mistake, someone can't like send a few messages for a little bit. Okay.
Right.
Like Snapchat doesn't work out. Okay. I'm not sending my photos to my friends. This is medicine. We want to take care of people. And there's like just requirements and standards we hold ourselves to that are higher than what most businesses have.
Yeah. That makes perfect sense. So, So from there, it's really just, and I've talked to a few people that have these these telehealth practices now. A buddy of mine just opened one a couple of weeks ago. It's becoming more and more common. So from there, it's just figuring out, okay, how do we get to, right? So say your goal is, I don't know, 100 million a month. How many patients do we need to hit that mark? And then how much advertising do we need to do and where in order to get that, right? So you're essentially a marketing company as well, right? You're now with that data. Beyond that, are you planning on going into other types of products within the medical field? Because I would think you have that data, you have a bunch of people that you've solved one problem for that probably have some other problems as well, right? Like people who have allergies, or a lot of them may be overweight, or a lot of them may be depressed, or a lot of them may be ADHD, whatever. So I would imagine there's a big opportunity there for expansion within the medical field. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Uh, I mean, you make it sound easy to get to $100 million a month. There's a little bit of complexity there,
Just a
you know.
little.
Um,
It's just a numbers game.
it is just a numbers game, but sometimes when you're trying to scale ad budgets from 100,000 a month to a million to 100 million, it does get, there are things that break along the way. You're absolutely right that it's a function of like, how do we want to grow the business? Do we like, yes, we can keep treating allergies, but eventually we'll run out. The way I look at that is like Amazon got really big just doing books,
Yeah.
you know?
And
And then
then
after that,
everything else. Yeah.
you go into everything else.
Yes. Exactly.
There are very obvious places we could expand, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you have bad allergies, you can't breathe. Okay, well, once we fix the allergies, is there another thing that we can do to help you breathe better, right? Can we
Yeah.
help you sleep better?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that make a lot of sense and are complementary, but
Yeah.
focus, like complexity kills businesses, man.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I
Uh,
couldn't agree more. I think people try to get too big too fast. There's this notion out there, like, like when you're growing up, right? Your parents always say, "Well, money's not everything, and make sure you save." Right? There's all these things that we learn when we're kids that are just not accurate. One of those things that they talked about early on is diversify. You got to have multiple streams of income. Yeah, once you're rich, you should have multiple streams of income. You got to get the first thing done first, and that's getting one thing that works well
yeah,
first.
you
Once
gotta
you've
earn that
got
problem.
Exactly. Once you've gotten to a point, that you're up there, then yes, diversify. But people get it in their head that they try to diversify right out the gate. Like I know this guy he does window tinting and roofing and all these different
Whew.
things, and he's doing none of them great. None of them. You know what I mean? It's like that saying, what is it, man of many
Jack of all trades,
talents.
master of none.
Yes, master of none. Exactly.
Exactly.
And you're absolutely right. So you gotta get to the to the gold before you can expand into other products and services. You got to have your foundation, right? It's just like building a house. You're not going to put up the walls before you build the foundation. You're not going to do the plumbing before the walls and the flooring's done. There's a process
Absolutely.
for everything, and building a business and scaling a business the right way, there's a formula to it, and it hasn't changed for many, many years. What has changed is technology, right? So your business 10 years ago did not exist. There was not there's not a blueprint. Well, there is now because there are some very successful telehealth companies out there, right? But it's not like this hasn't been around for a long time, right? But beyond that, in order to scale this company, are you guys using, I'd assume you're using other technology as you're growing this company for marketing and, content or whatever. Let's talk a little bit about that. Like, what are you seeing as far as um, technology advances that's helping you grow that company?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to pull us back a little bit. Okay.
Sure.
So like you said, 10 years ago, this business didn't exist.
Yeah.
Allergist offices existed, right?
Oh yeah, I mean more
So
the
like,
telehealth
no,
side.
no, I hear you. I hear you. There's an assumption in how an allergist operates that brings on a lot of work that you have to do. For example, and this is not a wrong or right way to do a business. It's just a choice that you end up making, right?
Right.
So let's say most allergists treat every allergy, right? Like they'll treat you from your peanut to your pet. They'll also do like venom, and they'll also do like a long tail of like really finicky things. And that's the right thing for them to do given their business model of being local, and they have to serve everyone that comes in,
Right.
right? Now we decided that, okay, to make our business work, if we want to help everyone, we got to crater costs. We got to make this as cheap as possible for the end customer. They can't afford to pay $300 a month to get treatment. How do we make that more affordable? And we realized what that means is you got to get rid of the long tail. You got to focus in. You got to say, okay, we're going to do cats, dogs, pollen, tree and weed and grass, and then like dust and the other indoor stuff. And we're going to look at peanut when we get a little bigger. So that focus allows us to say, okay, this changes the constraints of the business, which allows us to say, okay, we can make a little less money.
Yeah.
The other thing that focus allows us to do is get very good at our operations. And once you get really tight at operations, you can start introducing automation. You can start introducing AI to say, okay, look, we are able to scale better, right? So if in a traditional doctor's office, one doctor can see 2,000 patients, how do we make it so one doctor can be responsible for 10,000 patients, 100,000 patients? And that's actually for my goal of making allergies a thing of the past, that's actually a requirement for me. Because again, I've said 100 million people have allergies. There's only like 6,000 allergists. Right. That's not enough, bro. like supply and demand says that's not insane. Enough. That's why everyone self-medicates with these antihistamines that personally, I found the antihistamines ineffective. Right. So let me dig through kind of like how we approach this sort of applying technology in this sort of space where we don't want to make a mistake. Yeah. So the first thing we did is I have a background in computer science. I used to be a software engineer, so I just understand what's possible and what's not possible a little bit. I realized that my co-founder was spending probably 10 hours a week just educating people within the company how to talk about the medicine, right?
Within the company?
Within the company. Yeah, because you got like customer support people. You got a new person on the front desk. You got a marketer who's trying to like run an ad or whatever. Yeah. And, it's hard. This might sound wild, but apparently doctors go to school for a long time.
Yeah, I heard that.
So I don't blame anyone. It was like a natural constraint, but I'm like, that's a lot of time. What can we do? Yeah. So I'm playing. I see on the internets this like, okay, Chat GPT is great. It's good at like making up words. Right. Well, eventually I started playing with it, and I came across this idea of like you can actually train a GPT to just basically be like an expert off of already created data. Yeah. I was like, okay, let's try this out. So what we did is I just had my co-founder start recording these calls so we could start transcribing them. So that's our data set. Yeah. Then I saw, okay, before anyone talks to you, let's just see if they like can find the solution in the data set. Now that's a horrible choice because now you're asking people to do work, and you can't design systems where people have to do more work. But we found some edge cases. It got us a little more information, helped us understand how do people ask my co-founder Manan for this info. Right. So we're shaping the requirements here. And then what we did is we spent some time and we kind of turned all of his lectures into a question and answer format. And then I was basically, I think it's called a custom GP. It's called a custom GPT in Chat GPT. Yeah. Or it's called a project in Claude. Literally, I uploaded all of this information, and I was like, only answer questions that match what you already know. And and like pretend you're my co-founder and answer the question.
Right.
And what we found, and so like that was really good. And it's like freed up probably 75% of his time that he was spending on this education and
Oh, I
review for
bet.
two
So
reasons.
now what? The people within the company ask the questions
So
to.
they ask the questions in a public Slack channel. So Slack
Yeah.
is our communications
Yep.
platform. In that Slack channel, we set up an automation so that it automatically gets an answer from, we use Claude, but Anthropic,
Yeah.
they're all the same.
Yeah.
This is something that we were able to do relatively easily. It's a tool
Yep.
called Zapier. It's like no code. You can like,
Yeah.
if you can glue stuff together,
Zapier,
you can
yeah,
do this.
exactly.
Okay?
I am what I would say computer illiterate. I mean, compared to some people, and yeah, Zapier makes it so easy.
It's easy.
So,
Like this is doable if you're willing to like put in a little bit of time. And
yeah.
It creates an answer.
Yeah.
And then my co-founder will literally just go through it every day for like 15, 20 minutes. Those like times that you have like in
Yeah.
between. And he just puts a thumbs up if it's good. And
Yeah.
if he puts a thumbs down, he's then he puts a thumbs down on it as an emoji reaction. And then he'll like just write out like, hey, this isn't correct. This is how it should be changed. This is the right answer.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of take that, and every week we kind of improve the bot.
Yeah.
And so
exactly.
that's
and
like
eventually you get to a point where you don't even really need to worry about that anymore.
Yeah, I'm like, I want that, but I'm not sure
Right.
it'll happen because like,
Yeah, probably not, just because things change so often, and like how people communicate and the way people ask things, and
I think
there's just so many
it's like
variables.
what is the like, since this is education based, this is whatchamacallit, like there's nuance, right? And I don't want the mistakes, like there's a risk of the mistakes being wrong.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I can see another world where we're like, okay, now we know how to kind of like build a bot. You could build a bot which now says, okay, categorize all of our incoming support tickets.
Yeah.
And then the risk of being wrong is like effectively zero. Because all it means is like someone, like a support person tries and looks at the ticket, is like, oh, this isn't a shipping return. This is actually a medical question. I'll just recategorize it and it's fine. But now you've like removed that time of having to sort it and having to, you've just like automated a small, tiny part of the process.
Right.
And you're freeing up that time. But I found 100%. What's really important is knowing what you're trying to do. Because if you don't know what you're trying to do, then you end up building the wrong thing, or you end up not being able to like get AI.
100%. I mean, AI and automation is great, but it's only as good as the person using it, right? Like it's not this magical pill that's just going to fix things, right? But like you said, you got to know what you're doing. You got to know how to ask for it. You got to know how to get what you're trying to do out of this AI or this program, right? It's it's funny. I started teaching my wife. My wife's a bit older than me, and she didn't grow up with a cell phone. She grew up with a pager, right? So tried to teach her how to use chat GPT. She's a realtor, and I'm like, look, this is so easy. It can create different things for you. It's easier, whatever. And the first few times she asked it to do something, it's like she was asking her friend to do it. Like they would know what she's talking about. I'm like, you can't ask it like that, because they don't know you. They don't know you yet. They don't have enough information. You got to give them more information and ask them very directly and specifically about what you're looking for and how you want it, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I think the biggest thing with people is they just got to start using it. There's not enough businesses out there that are utilizing it, and it'll be just like those companies that that went out of business when they didn't jump on the internet years ago. They will get ran over by the ones that do take advantage of it, because if you're not using automation, the only way you can grow is by adding more people. And, it's no way to grow a business. It can be done, but automation just makes it so much easier, so much faster. And
adding
so
people has got to be the hardest way to grow a business.
100%. It's the hardest way. I would much rather make 10 people 10 times more effective than hire 10 times the amount of people.
And like what I found is if you get the right folks, because we're a relatively small business, we don't have a ton of folks. And so
Right.
what I always try and say, I try to tell everyone, look, you're joining us to build systems,
Yeah.
and your job today is not going to be your job in a year. Because if it's still
Exactly.
your job in a year, I have failed you.
Yeah.
Because I
Yep.
haven't built a system that's let you kind of move on to higher
Yep. To
value
something
things, to
else.
like
Yeah.
more important things.
Yes, exactly, bro. Dude, I mean it's great. You're seeing billion-dollar companies that have 1 to 5 employees. And that would never be possible without automation and AI.
Have you
It's
heard of this
insane.
company? Have you heard of this company, Midjourney?
I have. Yes.
Okay, so Midjourney is like one of the best image generators,
Yeah.
and they hardly even have a website.
Yeah.
This company, the founder was just like, what is the core thing I need? I need a way of someone to tell me what image they need generated, and I need a way to tweak it. There are people who would say, oh, you know what I need? I need a website. I need servers. No, this guy built his whole infrastructure to make this happen on top of Discord, which is a public chat application.
Yep.
Okay. He has that's he has 21 million people he has 21 million users just in a little public chat,
Yep.
and he doesn't have to manage anything in that. That is,
Nothing.
dude, the best like work is work you don't have to do. And so
Yeah.
he doesn't have to hire like 50 engineers to manage this stuff. You know,
No.
he's just like, oh, I'm piggybacking, baby.
Yeah. Chilling. Yeah,
I
it's
think they're like
incredible.
a
It's really
15-person
exciting.
team, 15-person team doing like a few billion a year.
Yes.
Which is bonkers.
Yep. Exactly. It's amazing, man. Like when I first started my company 8 years ago, I got this 5,000 square foot office space. I'm like, okay, in order to get to where I need 100 sales reps. I need 10 sales managers. I need, and so I got this massive office space. 2 years before COVID, we went remote. I said, once I hit 10 employees, I'm like, I don't want more than 10. I'm done. And then AI and automation started coming around 2019. We started implementing it. I'm like, yay, I don't need more than 10. This is great. We just make things easier for these 10. And so, that's kind of what we've done. And we've just made it easier for those 10 people to do 10 times the amount of work. And it's really, really, really fun and exciting that we can just keep adding in new tools and technology and watch us grow rather than having to hire more people. It's fun, man. It's real. I love every part of it. And I'm not a tech geek. I didn't go to school for, anything technical at all. I still type with 2 fingers like this, but I do it very effectively.
Look,
very
here's
fast.
how I say it. I started a company with a surgeon.
Yeah.
Surgeons are not known for being corporate with email hygiene and all that jazz. You know what they're known for?
Not
saving people's lives, taking tumors out of people's bodies. And
and chicken scratch.
yes, exactly. So it's been incredible to see, like, we've taken, doctor's office is not particularly tech adept most of the time, but we're making it that way. And look, when you position technology as something to help the people in their job instead of like an impediment, it's going to help them in their day to day. It's going to unlock them to do more interesting work instead of having to spend an hour filing papers. They're going to now spend 10 minutes. And you have to help them understand that it's not going to be perfect at the beginning. Okay. Perfection is the enemy of progress, but it'll get there if you trust it.
Yep.
I don't know why people ask AI to be perfect. Like, if you hired someone, you wouldn't ask it to be perfect.
Exactly.
You know
Exactly. It's just a tool at the end of the day, people are tools. These are tools. And, I guess it could eventually be perfect, but like you said, if you hire someone, you don't expect them to be perfect. Right. It's
not on day one. So your automation shouldn't be expected to be perfect on day one.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We're about 4 years into utilizing AI and automation, and we every single week we get better and better. And we're 4 years in. It's nowhere near perfect, but it gets better and better every single week. And that's the name of the game, right? Dude, Very great talking to you. If people are interested in getting rid of their pet allergies, dust, indoor allergies, how do they reach you? How do they set up an appointment? What does that look like?
Absolutely. Look, the easiest thing, go to our website, windly.com.
Okay, and I'll put
And
that in the description. That way they can just click on it.
absolutely, wyndly.com. There's like a book a doctor's visit, get it taken care of. We'll take care of
Perfect.
you. If you if you email in at care@windly.com and mention this pod, I'll give you, you know, I'll basically make it easier. You get the CEO discount, which is, comes out of my salary, but that's okay. And, if you just want to chat, find me on LinkedIn. I'm super personable. I'm a normal guy. Happy to talk.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, I appreciate your time, dude. Best of luck with everything. I'm excited to have you back on in maybe a year or so, see where you guys are at. But yeah, it's exciting times, and I'm excited to see where you guys grow this thing.
Wonderful. Thanks for having me on. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely, me too, bro.